The air inside the Galactic Interspecies Academy was thick with tension. The smell of ozone and fried circuits still hung in the hallway. Smoke curled from the shattered remains of a Class 7 war drone, its armored frame melted into the floor, sparking softly. Over it stood a creature no taller than a fire hydrant. Drool dripped from its mouth. Its stubby legs were planted wide, chest puffed out, and it growled, low and deep. Professor Larixa Glaraxian, with 6 eyes and 0 patience, slammed her claw on the emergency lockdown panel, trembling. Contain it. Activate red protocol. The Earth's pet has attacked. Red lights bathed the hallway in warning glow. A steel. Panels slammed shut across doors. Sirens echoed like panicked birds. Students screamed. Guards rushed forward, weapons charged, yelling over each other. But the creature didn't flinch. It looked like some kind of dog. Stocky, muscular, with a smashed-in face and a short tail that wagged. Just a little. Its name was Buster. He was someone's pet. For hours earlier, the academy had been calm, quiet, and full of curious whispers. It was cultural exchange week at time for students from dozens of planets to share pieces of their home cultures. Music, food, art, and for humans, apparently pets. Students from Earth had arrived on time, bright and excited. 10 teenagers, each with an assigned companion animal, walked through the docking bay with wide smiles. The pets were leashed, crated, or in hover carriers. Everyone expected small, harmless creatures, something fluffy, something cute. Most of them were. Mila Tran, a 15-year-old student from Houston, Texas, strolled confidently beside Buster, her bulldog mix, who wore a vest that read, "Service animal, do not pet." He walked with a heavy thump thump thump, eyes alert, tongue lolling out one side. Some students giggled. A few aliens recoiled. One Zythari made entirely of feathered limbs in anxiety fainted. "You brought a war beast," cried one instructor. Pointing at Buster, "No," Mila laughed. "He's just a dog." It didn't help. After much debate and scanning, Buster was reluctantly cleared for entry. The Academy's scanners detected no active weapons. His nanotech implants, known to most, were dormant. Officially, he passed as enhanced biological support companion. Officially, he was a walking anomaly. It began during 4th period. The students were gathered for pet interaction hour inside the open atrium. There were climbing trees for species with tails, sand pits for burrowers, a water tank for aquatic creatures. The human pets sniffed around awkwardly, watched closely by alien students who'd never seen such animals up close. One of the Glarn children, whose species resembled bipedal salamanders, approached Mila and asked politely, "Does it eat intelligent life?" "No," Mila said. "Buster loves belly rubs and peanut butter." The student stepped back, still unsure. Then the alarm went off. A rogue war drone, left over from last week's military test, activated itself. Nobody knew why. Maybe a glitch, maybe sabotage. It rolled out of the maintenance bay and locked on to unauthorized organisms. Fortunately, it registered Buster as a threat. Even more unfortunately, it wasn't wrong. The drone's turret spun. Its red targeting laser hit Buster's. Chess students screamed. Teachers ran. And Buster just stared. The turret fired. What happened next was caught on a dozen cameras. Flash of plasma shot toward the dog but never hit. A blue shimmer flared in front of Buster, absorbing the blast. He growled once, then charged. He moved faster than anything his size should have. The war drone, built for battlefield combat, tried to reposition. Too late, Buster leaped, teeth first, and bit into its sensor dome. Sparks flew. The drone flailed, trying to shake him off. But Buster held on, and then the melting began. Beneath his skin, long dormant nanotech installed during an Earth's military experiment gone wrong, activated. Mila had never known. Dog had never shown any signs. But now, defending his human, it woke. His saliva carried a nanocharge. His teeth vibrated at a subatomic frequency. Wherever he bit, metal softened. In 10 seconds, the war drone was nothing but a puddle of slag, wires, and broken dreams. Buster stood over the remains, growling. Which brings us back to now. Contain it. Professor Lyric shouted again. Guards surrounded the area with electro nets and anti-psi barriers, unsure what to do. Mila stood protectively beside Buster, one hand on his collar. Don't touch him, she said, loud and clear. He was just protecting me. He destroyed. A military-grade drone? One alien shouted. He saved lives, Mila argued. Lieutenant Voronoc of the Galactic Gardan, 8-foot pile of armor, teeth, and formality, stepped forward slowly. His weapon remained holstered. He studied the dog carefully. Is it sentient? He asked. Mila blinked. He's a dog. Does not answer the question. He knows when I'm sad. He knows when I'm scared. He knows when someone's a threat. You tell me? Buster growled at Voronoc, just enough to make the lieutenant stop walking. The guards looked at each other. They'd fought on jungle planets. They'd battled insect swarms. They'd even cleared out a hive of rogue mercenary squids on Nebulanine. But this dog unnerved them. What else can it do? Someone whispered. Nobody knew. Quiet chime interrupted. The headmaster's voice echoed through the intercom. Stand down, all of you. There was silence. The guards paused. I've reviewed the footage, the headmaster continued. The Earth Pet Buster acted in defense of his assigned human. He neutralized a rogue military unit that should not have been active. That unit nearly harmed students. We owe him thanks, not fear. But headmaster, Lyrics protested. This thing is loyal, the headmaster interrupted. And brave and effective. There was a long pause. Then, Militran, your companion will remain in the academy. Under observation, under respect, Mila exhaled. Thank you, Voronoc grunted. So, it's allowed to stay. The headmaster's tone grew sharp. Unless you wish to challenge it, Lieutenant. Voronoc took a step back. No, I do not. Buster sat down. He wagged his tail. Mila knelt beside him, scratching his ears. Good boy, she whispered. The tension slowly faded. Guards lowered their weapons. Students peeked from behind corners. Someone, somewhere, clapped. The galaxy had just witnessed something it couldn't explain. Creature from a death world. Had brought a pet to school, and the pet had fought like a soldier, thought like a tactician, and acted like a hero. Galactic rumors would soon spread. Entire species would question the definition of intelligence. Security protocols would be rewritten. Biologists would scramble for answers. But for now, Buster was just happy. Had his human, and he had a snack. Because as Mila reached into her backpack and handed him a peanut butter treat, he forgot. All about drones, weapons, and politics. He was a good boy. And he had more surprises to come. Smoke curled from the cracked floor where the war drone had fallen. Cleanup bots buzzed around the hallway, dragging melted metal into disposal units. Students whispered in every language. They weren't whispering about humans anymore. They were. Whispering about the dog. Buster? It had only been 24 hours since the fight. Since Buster had taken down a war drone faster than a Marine squad. Since the dog had shown the galaxy something none of them expected, power. Now, every alien on campus was watching him. The human students were under light surveillance. Mila was told to report every movement of her companion. Buster didn't. Seemed to mind, spent most of his time sleeping, snoring loudly, or sniffing the floor like nothing had changed. But everything had changed, and that became clear. The next night, it began with a voice. Not a scream, not a bark, a voice. Step away. From the human child, it said. Not through a speaker, not from a translator, but from Buster's mouth. The guards froze. They were standing outside Mila's room, having come to question her again. One of them, young, nervous, and slightly green, had reached for her wrist. Too fast, too rough, and that's when the dog spoke low. Low, calm, measured. The two guards staggered back. Did you hear that? One said. That was it. That was the dog. Buster stood between them and Mila, tail still, eyes locked. I repeat, he said, step away from the human child. Deed is it. Understand. Us, the taller guard asked. Yes, Buster said. Milla stared at him, mouth open. Buster? He looked up at her, tongue rolling out, wagging his tail. Hello, Milla. She backed into her bunk. You can talk. Only if necessary, he said. Necessary now, since when? There was a pause, since the war. Buster replied. The guards didn't know what to do. One activated his body cam. Footage was sent live to the command center. Within minutes. The room filled with senior officials, scientists, security officers. Even the headmaster appeared, in person, which almost never happened. All stared at the dog sitting calmly on the floor. Headmaster Yeller, long-bodied aquatic with a mechanical breathing suit, stepped forward. Dog, he said carefully. State your name and function. Name, Buster. Protect Militran, companion, emotional support, last resort defense. You are aware of your purpose? Yes. Were you trained for warfare? No. Were you enhanced? Yes. The room went silent again. Milla sat on her bed, speechless. Explain, Yeller said. Buster blinked. Oh. I was part of the Loki program. Earth Defense Initiative, created to assist troops in enemy territory. I was a rescue animal. Eaved from a shelter. Volunteers implanted nano-assistive AI. First to survive merging. Others failed. I did not. Why didn't you tell anyone? I was told to stay quiet. Directive. Only act in danger. Speak only in emergencies. Protocol triggered. Last cycle, when Milla was attacked. Milla shook her head. But you're just my dog. Buster turned to her, and in the softest tone yet said, I still am. Yeller nodded slowly, his gill fins trembling. So you're a living weapon? No, Buster said. I'm a protector. Someone in the back snorted. That's just Earth propaganda. But another scientist spoke up, Dr. Neal, a quiet insectoid with too many degrees. I scanned him earlier. I thought the readings were in error. His nervous system isn't normal. It's fused with some kind of organic quantum network. Tech, mixed with biology. That's not propaganda. Kinda tech. QAnon only. Self-grown. Impossible to replicate. Everyone in the room shifted uncomfortably. The truth hit them hard. Earth hadn't just domesticated animals. They had merged with them. Milla finally stood. You were alive the whole time? She asked Buster. I've always been alive. He said, but I used to be ... simple. Now, I am more. Do the others know? She asked. Mo, he said. Most are just animals. Loyal, brave. But some of us changed. That night, word spread across the entire academy. Some students were terrified, others were fascinated. A few alien nobles demanded immediate removal of all Earth creatures, including pets and possibly humans. They're clearly hiding weapons. Inside Fur, one lizard-faced ambassador said on a broadcast, Out. Today it's dogs. But something strange also happened, eh? A group of alien students from peaceful species came to visit Milla. Quietly, respectfully, they brought offerings, fruit, shiny rocks, scented oils. For the warrior beast, one of them said. Buster sniffed a basket of roasted fish, then sneezed. Later that evening, Milla and Buster sat alone on the garden deck. Under the stars. I don't get it, she whispered. Why didn't you say anything before? Buster turned his head slightly, ears twitching. You were happy. He said, You didn't need a soldier. You needed a friend. She reached over and rubbed behind his ear. He leaned into it. Are there more like you? I don't know. Maybe. Earth did many things in secret. Then the war ended. Buried projects. Shut programs down. I was sent to a shelter. Forgotten until you found me. I just wanted a good dog, she said. You got one? She laughed, but there were tears in her eyes. Not everyone saw Buster the same way. The next day, during morning drills, a new warning was issued. All non-sentient pets must be re-registered. Any creatures with AI augmentation must report for analysis. Earth students will be scanned daily. Milla was furious. You think we all brought super dogs? No, the official replied. but one is enough. On the public networks, the debate raged. Should Earth pets be banned? Are humans hiding bioweapons? Is friendship with animals a dangerous Earth tactic? Dick. In the midst of it all, Buster remained calm. He didn't speak again. He didn't need to. He just stayed close to Mila, watched everything, and waited, because something deep inside him, some ancient instinct mixed with military protocol, told him this wasn't over. Something else was coming. And this time, they wouldn't be aiming at a drone. They'd be aiming at her. And Buster would be ready. The alarm blared through the hallways like a dying animal. Containment breach. Zone 3. Containment breach. Deathworld species involved. Students froze. Some ran. One alien professor dropped her communicator and ducked behind a display of ancient gravity maps. A pair of robotic security drones zipped past, armed and scanning. Inside Classroom 3 Zeta, a solid boom shook the walls. The lights flickered. Glass trembled in its frame. Another boom, and then the door slid open, melted. From the middle. Not blasted, not cut, melted, like someone had breathed fire through it, and out walked. Cat, fat orange, fluffy tails swishing like royalty. It gave no sign of fear, no sense of urgency. It paused, stretched, and yawned. "Pickles," said Jonah, the human boy behind her. "What did you do this time?" Pickles purred, stepped over the melted door, flopped onto the tile floor like nothing had happened. Security drones stopped. One scanned the hole in the wall. "Mild plasma signature," it said. "No weapons detected." It was the cat. The other drone replied, "It's mechanical, eye twitching. A house cat. Species, Felis catus. Status, non-combatant. Behavior, highly suspicious." The classroom was in chaos. Half the lab was on fire. One wall panel had been clawed open. The teacher, a four-armed botanist from the Verac system, clung to the ceiling light and whimpered. Pickles licked her paw. An emergency message flashed across all. Academy screens. Earth pets. Reclassification. Under review. That afternoon a meeting was called. Students from all sectors gathered in the auditorium. Watched over by guards, Professor Lyric stood at the front, furious. We can no longer ignore the danger posed by these creatures. The projector behind her showed a list of incidents. From just the past 3 days, a hamster escaped its cage and caused a 3-hour blackout after crawling into a vent and chewing a power line. A parrot mimicked a headmaster's voice and triggered an evacuation drill. A ferret stole 5 security keycards and hid them in a food dispenser, and now Pickles had melted a blast door. Jonah stood up from his seat. It wasn't her fault. She just wandered into the chemistry zone. Someone left the plasma gel unlocked. Lyric's eyes narrowed. And the claws that pried open a Class 4 circuit panel. "Cats are curious," he said. She triggered 2 reactors into overload. She also took a nap inside one. Maybe that stabilized it. She's a bomb hazard. She's also like 12 pounds. Students laughed nervously, but Lyrics didn't smile, I warned. "You," she said, turning to the headmaster. "These Earth creatures are unpredictable, illogical, disrespectful of boundaries. I recommend immediate containment." Several alien students murmured in agreement, but others hesitated. One hand-door tentacle rose from the side of the room. It belonged to Kalu, a young aquatic species with large wet eyes. "I like the Earth pets," Kalu said softly. "They don't judge you. They just sit with you, make you feel warm." Mila nodded. "They help us when we're sad. That's why we brought them." "It wasn't meant to scare you." Lyric scoffed. "They've destroyed more equipment in 3 days than the entire academy has lost in 2 decades. "But we didn't train them to do that," Mila said. "They're not weapons. They're just ... weird." "Exactly," Lyric said. "And weird is dangerous." The headmaster finally stood. The room quieted. "I have made my decision," he said. "Till further notice, all Earth pets are to be monitored, scanned daily, and confined to their humans' quarters, unless under direct supervision," students protested. The alien ones cheered. Buster sitting silently at Mila's feet. blinked slowly. Pickles had to be carried out in a soft containment bubble, looking very pleased with herself. That night, the academy was quieter. The animals were locked in. Guards walked the halls. Sensors tracked every pet's location, and still, tension grew. In the monitoring station, 2 security officers stared at a screen, showed a live feed of Jonah's room. Pickles lay on his pillow, snoring. Looks harmless, one said. Other pointed. Wait, her body temp just spiked. On screen, Pickles sat up suddenly, ears perked. She turned her head slowly toward the camera. The image cut to black. Both guards jumped. Did she? Check the line. The technician entered the room minutes later, frowning. It wasn't the line, he said. The cat fried the sensor remotely. With a look. The next morning, chaos returned. A squirrel had escaped and led 24 alien children on a chase across the gravity gym. A rat had reprogrammed a cleaning bot to sing lullabies, and Buster's silent alert began to sense something else. Something wrong, not just panic, a pattern. At night he sat by the door, listening, footsteps outside, drones shifting. Unusual power draws from the surveillance grid. Then he heard it, a click, a voice from behind the wall panel. Phase 2 will begin in 48 hours. All Earth animals must be removed. Targets identified. Primary concern, Busters. Ears perked. He moved closer, listening without breathing. The humans can be spared, but the creatures are too dangerous, too unpredictable. We'll remove them quietly. Mila, asleep on the bed, turned over and mumbled something in a dream. Buster didn't wake her. He padded across the floor, pressed his head gently against the panel. A soft electric pulse left his forehead and ran through the wires. He listened. To every signal, every whisper, every plan. Then he growled, quietly for now, because he finally understood. This wasn't about cats melting doors, or rats stealing chips. Someone wanted Earth's animals gone. Not for safety, for fear. And behind that fear was something darker. They didn't just fear what Earth pets could do. They feared what they already knew, what they might remember. And Buster remembered more than they ever guessed. It was time to prepare. The council chamber lights dimmed, thick glass walls sealed tight. A dozen representatives from across the galaxy took their seats in silence. Behind them, armed security bots waited, weapons ready, but not yet raised. On the screen in the center of the room, a paused image of Buster, growling, standing over a melted war drone. Eyes glowing faint blue. The title below read, Unclassified, Combat Capable, Earth Life Forms. Urgent review. High Chancellor Varn clicked her claws together. This is no longer about education, or culture, or exchange. This is about control. Turn to the others, eyes sharp. We gave the humans a chance. They brought pets. We assumed pets were harmless. We are wrong. A representative from the peaceful Valari species raised his shimmering tendril. With all due respect, Chancellor, the dogbuster only acted in defense. No humans have used these animals for attack. Another representative, a three-eyed military tactician from the Turnax Dominion growled, Intent doesn't matter. Capability does. That dog disabled a war drone in seconds. That cat Pickles melted reinforced metal by existing. The ferret rewired a power grid. Era. Security nightmare. The screen changed. A list of Earth animals scrolled by. Dogs, cats, parrots, ferrets, rats, hamsters. Even a goldfish flagged as suspected telepathic. Varn stood tall. We must act before it's too late. Earth's creatures must be removed from this facility. Removed. How? Someone asked. Peacefully. If possible. It's by force. If needed. Mila found the notice taped to her door. Earth Companion detainment order effective immediately. Her hand shook. No, she whispered. No way. Buster sat quietly behind her. He had already read the order through the data waves. He knew it was coming. The way the drones hovered too long near their room, the new sensors in the hallway, the way no one looked Mila in the eye anymore. It wasn't fear anymore. It was orders. They want to take you, Mila said. They can't do this. Buster looked up at her, calm. They will try. We must prepare. She dropped to her knees and hugged him. You're not just my dog, you're my family. I know, he said. Across the campus, guards moved in waves. Earth pets were being collected. Some came easily. A hamster in a ball rolled into a box without much fuss. A sleepy rabbit went peacefully, nibbling a treat. Others resisted. Pickles. The cat vanished from her room and reappeared inside the ventilation system. Every time a guard got close, she moved again, just slow enough to be seen. Fast enough to escape. A parrot shouted, "Freedom," and flew in circles around the courtyard. Dropping small objects onto the guards' helmets, a rat named Cheese Commander led 3 others through the mainframe access tunnel, chewing through sensor lines and tripping lockdowns as they went. But still, the Academy kept taking them, one by one. The humans lost their companions. Jonah pounded on the glass of the detainment wing, screaming for Pickles. Guards held him back. It's just temporary, one said. You're making a mistake, Jonah snapped. You think you're keeping yourself safe, but you're breaking something we can't fix. Back in Milla's room, the knock came. 3 guards, Lieutenant Voronek at the front. Milla Tran, surrender your companion now. She stood tall. No. Buster sat beside her, not growling, just watching. This is a legal directive, Voronek said. If you refuse, we are authorized. To use force? You'll have to go through me, Milla said. Incorrect, Buster said. You will have to go through me. Voronek paused. The other 2 guards shifted their weight. Don't make this harder, the lieutenant said. This isn't personal. And don't treat me like I'm a threat, Buster said. You know, I haven't harmed anyone. The drone attacked first. You're too dangerous to leave unmonitored. I have been monitoring you since the first day, Buster said. You fear me because I understand you. I don't need weapons. I am one. But I choose not to be. A long silence followed. Then Milla spoke, her voice shaking. If you take him, I go too. That stopped the guards cold. What? I'll leave the Academy. I'll take the next ship back to Earth. You can explain to the Galactic Council why. A top Earth student walked out over a dog. Buster turned to her. You don't have to do this. You're not just a dog, she whispered. You're my best friend. The standoff held for almost a minute. Then Voronek sighed. Detainment. Order stands. But I won't force it today. Not yet, he turned. We'll be back. The door hissed shut. Milla dropped to the floor, exhausted. Buster didn't move. Sat, listening, watching, and planning. That night, the power went out. Not everywhere, just. In the detention wing, all the cages unlocked, the animals didn't panic. They moved fast, organized, silent. Pickles reappeared, padding along the security rails. She pressed her paw against a sensor pad. Somehow it accepted her print. Parrots flew down the hall, carrying stolen keycards. Ferrets flipped breaker switches. The rats. They'd already built a tunnel under the wall. One by one, the Earth pets escaped. No alarms triggered, no guards injured. They regrouped outside, where Buster waited. Milla stood beside him, eyes wide. You planned this, I observed. I adapted. I acted. But how did you get them to listen? I didn't. Buster looked up at the stars. They just knew. When someone tries to cage you, you don't wait. You act. The pets gathered around. Dozens of them, sitting, watching. Buster looked at Milla. This isn't over. They'll try again. What do we do? Show them what Earth really is. And what's that? Not just a death world, Buster said, eyes glowing. Home worth defending. Far above, inside a ship orbiting silently, a figure watched the feed with interest. She zoomed in on Buster's face, played back his words. This one, she whispered. This one remembers the old war. She tapped a communicator. Begin. Extraction protocol. Target. Enhanced Canine Unit 7, codename Buster. High priority. Alive. Because while the Galactic Academy thought they were controlling Earth's pets, someone else knew the truth. They weren't pets. They were survivors. They were defenders. And one of them had just started a war. The Galactic Academy woke to chaos. Sirens howled through the halls. Emergency lights blinked red. Half the security network had gone dark. Officers ran to terminals, trying to reboot systems. Doors failed. Scanners glitched. Cameras showed static. Every Earth pet was missing. Pickles, Cheese Commander, the parrots, gone, and Buster. No one could find him. Inside a hidden maintenance shaft, Buster crouched low. His eyes glowed dim blue in the dark. Round him, the pets waited in silence. Ferrets wiggled with excitement. Parrots tapped their claws. Pickles slept on a heat vent. Phase 1 complete, Buster said. No losses, 0 detection. Meow, said Pickles, barely lifting her head. Good enough, Buster replied, across the shaft. A rat held up a hollow projected map. Security lockdown still active on detention wing, the rat squeaked. Human students are confined to their rooms. We get 'em out, Buster said. We bring them here. Then we move to the extraction point. Parrot squawked. Is it go time? Buster nodded once. It's go time. Mila's room. Her door remained locked from the outside. She paced, furious. They think they've won, she said. They took our friends. They locked us down. And for what? Outside, muffled clanging echoed through the vents. Then a soft clink on her door. She turned. The keypad blinked, glitched. Then it slid open in its own. Standing there, tail wagging, was Buster. Hi, he said. Mila dropped her tablet. You're okay? He stepped inside and nudged her back gently. No time. We have minutes. Put on your shoes. Where are we going? Rescuing your classmates? Then leaving. Leaving where? Off planet? What? I've activated a stealth ship from Earth's emergency cache. Docking Bay 7. Fully cloaked. Only I can pilot it. Mila stared. You're telling me you can fly a spaceship. I prefer to ride shotgun. Oh, but yes. 10 minutes later. Mila and Buster had gathered 5 other students from locked rooms. Jonah carried Pickles on his shoulder like royalty. She sabotaged their sensors with her face. Can you believe that? A parrot overhead squawked. Birds of war, baby. They moved through dark tunnels under the academy. Old, unused maintenance corridors, long forgotten by most species. But Earth pets had found them, built maps, chewed paths, planned everything as they crawled toward the hangar. Mila leaned close to Buster. Why now? Because now they crossed the line. They were afraid. They turned fear into control, into cages, into threats. I don't care what they fear. I protect what matters. And we matter. You're Earth, Buster said. That means you always matter. Inside the hangar, 4 guards stood between them and Docking Bay 7, to alert, to well-armed. Distraction needed, Buster said. I could yell, Jonah offered. No. Let Pickles do it. The cat blinked slowly, licked her paw, then wandered straight into the hangar, meowing pitifully. One guard saw her and laughed. Look, one of the Earth pets. She's cute, another said. Pickles flopped over onto her back, stretching. Adorable, the third said. Then Pickles rolled over and disappeared, literally vanished. What the behind them? A drone exploded in a burst of sparks. Then lights died. Then a ferret appeared out of nowhere and stole. A blaster chaos. The guards panicked. The kids ran. Buster led them to the ship, which uncloaked at his signal. It was small, sleek, black as night. The ramp opened. Everybody and Buster barked. Mila turned back. Are we stealing a ship right now? Borrowing, Buster corrected. From Earth's deep cache. Long forgotten. Built just in case. In case of what? In case the galaxy ever forgot who humans really are? They blasted out of the hangar in full stealth mode. No alarms. No locks. Detection. But 20 seconds into spaceflight, Buster growled low. Problem? Tracking beacon active. They're coming. Who? Buster's voice dropped. Not the Academy. Something worse. On the edge of the star system, A ship waited in silence. Black, long, no visible markings. No windows. Inside, a figure watched. The feed from a hidden drone still tracking Buster's signal. The figure was humanoid, but not human. CY Bernard. Old. The voice it spoke with was cold metal. Unit 7 has activated emergency mode. Companion protocol fully awakened. Subject is unstable orders. Asked a second figure thin. All bone and wires. Capture alive. Disable if needed. Retrieve all Earth animal assets. They were never meant to survive this long. They turned to a console. Deploy interceptors. Lock that ship down. For memory extraction? Inside the escape ship, Mila looked at Buster. You knew they'd come? Yes. Who are they? The ones who built me. What? Buster kept his eyes forward, scanning stars. Earth experimented during the war? Made us smarter. Fused tech into biology. But some programs were canceled. Buried. Quietly. Why? We learned too fast. They got scared. Shut it all down. Erased us. But you survived, 'cause you found me. The ship beeped in. Alert, incoming fast. 3 interceptors, Buster said. It's no ID. Full stealth. They'll try to disable us. Can you outrun them? No. Then what? We fight. Jonah stepped up. You got weapons? No, Buster said. Then he smiled. But I've got us. What followed would be talked about for years. Buster barked a sequence. The ship's interface opened, in Earth English. Ferrets? Plugged into power conduits. Parrots screamed coordinates. Squirrel ran across the dashboard to press buttons. The rat squad worked inside the walls, reconfiguring defense systems. Pickles slept. But somehow, the ship's shields got stronger. Every time she PURRED. Buster activated manual controls. Hang on. The interceptors opened fire. Blue blasts flew across the void, but Buster moved like a creature. Born in vacuum, spinning, diving, dancing between shots. Then he barked. Again, the ferrets triggered something deep in the ship's belly, a pulse wave, invisible. Powerful. The first interceptor shut down instantly. The second veered off course. The third, still following, too close, Buster said. We need one more push. He turned to Pickles. Time to melt something. The cat stretched, stood up, walked to the power core. She stared at it. The core glowed brighter. The ship jolted. Pickles. PURRED. Outside. The last interceptor exploded. The kids cheered. Buster didn't. He stared out at the stars. They won't stop. What do we do? Mila asked. We go to Earth, Buster said. Show the galaxy who we are. Not monsters, not weapons. He turned, looking at every animal. Defenders. Mila stepped beside him. Then let's defend. And together. With a ship full of strange creatures and stronger hearts, they turned toward Earth. The galaxy wouldn't know what hit it, because the humans had brought their pets to school. And now their pets were bringing war back home. The moon was silent. Not the kind of silence you get in space, cold and empty. This silence was deeper, heavier, like something was holding its breath. Dr. Chelly Grar, Xanthari's an archaeologist, moved carefully through the ruins. Her 6 legs clicked softly on the stone floor. Her 4 eyes scanned every carving, every scratch, every trace of the past. The ruins were old, pre-galactic, older than any known civilization. And buried deep under the dust of this forgotten moon was something even older, a warning. Chelly had found it by accident while following old pirate maps and scavenger logs. She expected old tech, maybe bones, maybe treasure. What she found was fear. On the far wall of the chamber, lit only by her helmet light, was a giant mural, a battle. Alien creatures, many unrecognizable, were fleeing. In the center stood strange shapes, 2-legged beings riding 4-legged animals. One looked like a wolf, another like a cat, and one broad, powerful. Tongue hanging out, looked exactly like a bulldog. She stepped closer. Underneath the painting were words. Not Galactic standard, not any known code, but somehow she understood them. Do not awaken them. Do not forget. They do not conquer. They protect. But if you threaten what they love, they will burn your stars. Chelly stared, breath frozen. She activated her transmitter. This is Dr. Grar. I found something about Earth and their animals. The signal went silent. No reply. She tried again. Nothing behind her in the shadow. Something moved. She turned. Her light flickered. The chamber was empty, but the mural was different. The eyes of the dog had started glowing blue. On Earth, deep inside an abandoned Earth defense bunker, Buster stood in front of a vault door. "We're here," he said. The others looked around. Jonah, Mila, Pickles, Cheese Commander. All the human students and their pets now stood in the dark. The base had been shut down for years, hidden, forgotten, covered in vines and myths. But Buster remembered he had been trained here. He walked forward and pressed his nose against a scanner. The door opened with a hiss. Inside were walls of data cores, banks of biotech. Metal crates marked classified, genetic prototypes. Buster walked past it all. Toward the center, a black cube sat on a pedestal. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. He looked at Mila. This is where it started. She stepped closer. Started. What? The companion war initiative. Jonah blinked. Thought it was a rumor. It was, Buster said. Until now. He touched the cube. It opened. Inside were memories. Not videos. Not files, real memories. Stored in living code, they rushed into Mila's mind. She saw children crying in bunkers. She saw dogs tearing through enemy lines to rescue them. She saw cats sneaking into enemy bases and sabotaging reactors. She saw parrots delivering battle plans when satellites failed. She saw rats carrying nano-bombs into places no drone could reach. And above all, she saw loyalty. Fierce, untamed, unbreakable. They used us, Buster said quietly. Then they buried us. Shut it down. Thought it was too dangerous, too powerful. But you were saving people, Mila said. Yes, he replied. That's what scared them. The truth wasn't just that Earth animals had been enhanced. The truth was that they had chosen to protect humans, even when abandoned, even after the programs ended, even when forgotten. That's why the galaxy is afraid, Jonas said. Because they don't understand love like that? Not that deep. Buster nodded. They think loyalty is control. That we obey because we're programmed, but we don't obey. We choose. Suddenly, the base alarms lit up. Someone was coming, Buster turned to the monitor. A ship was landing nearby. Dark, unmarked, not galactic. Academy, not friendly. Mila's face went pale. Who is it? Buster stared at the screen. The ones who tried to erase us. They tracked us here. Outside, shadows moved through the forest, silently. Fast, back on the forgotten moon, Dr. Chelly Grau ran from the ruins. Behind her, the ground shook. The mural had come alive. She had barely escaped with the recording in her pack as she climbed into her shuttle. She activated a galaxy-wide transmission. This is a warning, she said, to all species. Earth's creatures are not just animals. They are protectors, warriors. If you hurt what they love, you won't survive it. She paused, breathing hard. We feared Deathworlders, but we forgot who walks beside them. She looked straight into the camera. We forgot the Defenders, and she hit send. On Earth, the dark soldiers moved into the base. They were tall, armored, silent, but not as silent as the ferrets or the rats in the walls, or the cats hiding in vents, or the parrots perched above. And they were definitely not as fast as Buster. He exploded from the hallway like a missile, hit the lead soldier, mid-chest, sent him crashing into the wall. The others turned. Weapons on him. He moved faster. He wasn't alone. Pickles leapt from a pipe and landed on one's face. Parrots screamed and blinded. Their visors rats shorted their boots. Cheese Commander squeaked, "Go!" Mila and the others ran toward the back exit, carrying the memory cube. Jonah covered them, flinging tools, barking orders. Buster tore through the last attacker, panting. But then, he paused. A final soldier stepped forward. Bigger, older, cybernetic unit. "7," he said. "You were never supposed to wake." "I woke because someone needed me," Buster replied. "You're a mistake." "I'm Earth," Buster growled. "And we don't abandon our own," they charged. The fight was brutal, fast, metal against muscle. Sparks flew, the floor cracked, but in the end, Buster stood tall, bruised, burned, bleeding, but alive. He turned to the exit and followed his humans home, above Earth. Dozens of ships were now watching, alien governments, galactic news, drones, hackers, smugglers, and people who had once laughed at Earth's harmless animals. Now they watched the footage of rats, disabling soldiers, of cats melting doors, of dogs flying ships, and they finally understood Earth hadn't trained animals to fight. Earth had formed a bond no one else in the galaxy could match. A bond built on trust, on love, and on the simple, unshakable truth. If you come for one of them, you answer to all of them. The galaxy panicked, because this wasn't a war they were prepared for. This wasn't technology. This wasn't brute strength. This was something older, deeper. This was loyalty. And loyalty could not be stopped. Not by fear, not by rules, not even by an empire. The pets of Earth were awake now, and they remembered everything. The Galactic Council chamber was silent. Every screen, every translator, every being across 100 worlds watched the emergency, broadcast in disbelief. They weren't watching weapons. They weren't watching armies. They were watching a little girl Millis step onto a podium, standing between a cat and a dog, Pickles on her shoulder, Buster at her side. She didn't speak. Right away, she looked tired, like she hadn't slept in days, but her eyes burned when she finally spoke. Her voice was soft, but every translator made sure the entire galaxy heard. "You locked us in cages," the council murmured. "You took our friends. You called them dangerous. You said we couldn't be trusted, that they couldn't be trusted." She reached into her bag and held up a small cube. "This is from Earth's forgotten vaults. It holds everything. The truth. What you did, what you tried to erase." Of the council members, a tall insectoid clicked nervously. "The footage has already been released," Mila said. "The whole galaxy knows now." The chamber buzzed with panic. Mila turned to Buster. "Go ahead." He stepped forward, tail still. "My name is Buster. I was bred to protect, trained in silence, buried in fear." He looked out at the council and blinking. "I am not a weapon. I'm a companion. Oh. I chose loyalty. I chose love." The tension in the room was sharp. Pickles let out a soft, smug purr. Mila continued, her voice rising. "You were scared. That's okay. Fear is natural. But what you did next wasn't fear. It was cruelty." Behind her, holograms lit up. Dogs pulling children from rubble. Cats warning of incoming bombs. Birds delivering intel faster than any drone. Squirrels rewiring alien tech mid-battle. Rats freeing prisoners from sealed cells. Each clip more shocking than the last. Each one showing Earth's animals doing what no one else could. Saving lives without orders, without rewards. Only love. A Sarnathi delegate finally spoke. "You want from us?" Mila didn't hesitate. 3 things. 1. You will stop hunting Earth's companions. You will remove every restriction, every ban, every regulation. 2. You will admit the truth publicly. That Earth pets are not monsters, that they are heroes. She paused. And 3. You will leave Earth alone. An Avaric captain growled from his seat. "We don't." Buster's eyes glowed faintly. Pickles yawned, the screens behind them. Changed again. Now it showed footage from a hidden battle one the council had tried to erase. A small Earth ship, crewed by human children and animals, outmaneuvering 3 interceptor class cruisers. Winning. without firing a shot, using instinct, coordination, love. Winning the chamber went silent again. Then, Mr. said 6 words. Simple, clear, final. Earth doesn't abandon its own. Back on Earth, the skies above the Academy were filled with ships, not to invade, to apologize, to witness. Galactic leaders came in peace. They didn't come to study Earth's pets anymore. They came to honor them. There was a new monument outside. The Academy now, not of a general, not of a king. It was a statue of Buster, sitting proud, tail curled, watching the stars. Beside him was Pickles, half-dash asleep, a plaque below read, "To those who were called just pets, to those who loved, without being told, to those who never left our side, Earth remembers, and now, so does the galaxy." Later at sunset, Mila sat with Buster on the school roof. Pickles snored softly between them. "You think it'll last?" she asked. Buster looked up at the stars. "There." "Still afraid?" he said. "But maybe now they'll be a little more afraid of doing the wrong thing." She smiled. "Is that how we win? Fear?" "No," Buster said. "That's how they lose." He turned to her, ears perked. "We win by being what they're not. Loyal, brave, loving." "And loud," said Jonah, climbing up behind them with Cheese Commander in tow, "and clever," added a parrot from the gutter, "and chaotic," squeaked a ferret under the bench. Mila laughed, then looked serious. "What happens if someone comes again? If someone tries to hurt Earth? Or our friends?" Buster didn't blink. "Then the pets go to war." Pickles stretched, flicked her tail, and went right back to sleep. Across the stars, new laws were signed. Species that once feared Earth animals now sought alliances. New programs opened. Interstellar Companion Defense, Earth Pet Honors united. Species-animal bonding. Buster became a symbol, not of war, but of what peace could look like. If you loved hard enough to protect it, even if you had fur or feathers or 4 legs, and somewhere, far beyond the core systems, in the dark void where old powers watched in silence, a signal went out, not a threat, a warning. Just 6 words. Carried across encrypted waves, "Earth is not alone. Remember, Buster? They did forever. Because Earth pets didn't ask for power. They earned it. With every bark, every purr, every act of love, no matter the cost. Because when Deathworlders brought their pets to school, the galaxy panicked. But when their pets brought humanity back to itself, the galaxy finally understood. Humans are dangerous. But the ones who love them, they're unstoppable." The end.